Hello guys, in today's video we are going to see one more compound of nitrogen, nitric acid. So in the previous video we have seen about ammonia and how it's prepared and what are its properties. In that series we are going to see one more compound of nitrogen, and nitrogen forms three oxo acids. You know what is an oxo acid? Oxo acid is an acid which contains oxygen. You know what is an acid? An acid is the one which donates a H plus, and if that H plus of that acid is linked to an oxygen, then we call that particular compound as oxo acid. So nitrogen is capable of forming three oxo acids, and the three oxo acids of nitrogen are hyponitrous acid, nitrous acid, and nitric acid. H2N2O2, hyponitrous acid, HNO2 nitrous acid, HNO3 nitric acid. Among these three oxo acids of nitrogen, nitric acid is the most important. So now we will see the preparation of nitric acid. As usual, we have two different preparations: laboratory preparation and commercial preparation. In the lab preparation, nitric acid is prepared by heating NaNO3 and concentrated sulfuric acid in a glass retort. A glass retort is nothing but a glass bulb, and it is having a long curved spout, a bend kind of thing, through which the distillate may pass. So we are using that glass retort to heat NaNO3 and sulfuric acid to prepare nitric acid. So this is the reaction. NaNO3 plus H2SO4 upon heating gives you NaHSO4 plus HNO3, which is nitric acid. So this is the laboratory preparation of nitric acid. On large scale, which means a commercial preparation, nitric acid is mainly prepared by a process called Ostwald's process. We have seen the process by which ammonia is prepared commercially is called as Haber's process, and this one where we prepare nitric acid is called as Ostwald's process. This method is based upon the catalytic oxidation of ammonia by atmospheric oxygen. So look at this reaction. We have ammonia, 4NH3 gas plus 5O2 gas. This is from air. In the presence of platinum or rhodium gauze. Gauze is a loosely woven fabric of thin wires. So we are going to use platinum or rhenium gauze as the catalyst in the presence of 500 Kelvin and 9 bar pressure. You get 4NO, which is nitric oxide, plus 6H2O gas. So in this preparation of nitric acid by Ostwald's process, you are actually taking ammonia and it is oxidized catalytically by atmospheric oxygen. So 4NH3 plus 5O2 in the presence of platinum or rhodium gauze at 500 Kelvin temperature and 9 bar pressure, you are getting 4NO, which is nitric oxide, plus 6H2O. So we are actually preparing what? Nitric acid. So not yet the process is over. Now this nitric oxide formed here combines with oxygen, giving NO2, which is nitrogen dioxide. So NO, 2NO from this nitric oxide, NO plus O2 gives 2NO2. So from NO you are getting nitrogen dioxide. Nitrogen dioxide formed here dissolves in water to give you nitric acid. So 3NO2 plus H2O liquid gives you 2HNO3 aqueous plus NO gas, and this NO formed is recycled, and the aqueous HNO3 can be concentrated by distillation up to 68% by mass. So you can concentrate this aqueous nitric acid by distillation, you will get 68% by mass. When you dehydrate this nitric acid further with concentrated sulfuric acid, then you will get 98% concentration of nitric acid. So you are getting pure and pure nitric acid. As I told you, this NO you got here can be recycled, and again you can go through this process. NO reacting with oxygen to give you nitrogen dioxide and dissolving that nitrogen dioxide in water to give nitric acid. So remember, when you distillate nitric acid, you will get 68% by mass of nitric acid. And further, if you dehydrate it, which means you're removing water using concentrated sulfuric acid, you will get 98% concentration of nitric acid. Now let's see the properties of nitric acid. We can see that under two topics, physical properties and chemical properties. Now looking at the physical properties, nitric acid is a colorless liquid. It doesn't have any color, and the boiling point of nitric acid is 355.6 Kelvin and the freezing point is 231.4 Kelvin. When you look at the laboratory grade nitric acid, it has 68% of the nitric acid by mass and it has a specific gravity of 1.504. Specific gravity, it is nothing but the relative weight of that liquid compared to an equal volume of water. So when the liquids that are lighter than water have a specific gravity less than 1, and those liquids that are heavier than water have a specific gravity greater than 1. So lab grade HNO3 has a specific gravity of 1.504, and in the gaseous state, nitric acid exists as a planar molecule. Look at this structure. This is a planar molecule. A planar molecule means all the atoms of that particular molecule will lie in the same plane. So this is the planar structure of a nitric acid, HNO3. So H bonded to O and then N and two O's here. And the bond angle, HON bond angle is 102 degree and ONO bond angle is 130 degree. And the bond length, HO bond length is 96 picometer, NO bond length is 121 picometer. So this is the planar structure of nitric acid. And now coming to chemical properties. From the name itself, we know we are talking about nitric acid. So it shows acidic nature. When you look at nitric acid, you can see nitric acid is a strong monobasic acid, which means it can give 1 H+. So in aqueous solution, it ionizes as CHNO3 plus H2O gives you H3O plus NO3 minus. So the H plus from HNO3 and H2O, they join together to give you H3O plus. So HNO3 is a strong monobasic acid, which means it is capable of giving 1 H plus. And the next property of nitric acid is its oxidizing property. Nitric acid is a very strong oxidizing agent because it readily gives a nascent oxygen both in the concentrated as well as in the dilute form. So when you say nascent oxygen, it refers to the oxygen that has just been made, which means while the reaction is taking place, that oxygen is released. So we call such oxygens as nascent oxygen. Since nitric acid is capable of releasing nascent oxygen readily, nitric acid is a very strong oxidizing agent. Now let's look at the oxidizing property of nitric acid, where it oxidizes metals. First, copper. And depending upon the concentration of the nitric acid, you get different products. So the products of oxidation depend upon the concentration of the acid and the temperature and the nature of the material undergoing oxidation. So first you can take copper. Copper reacting with HNO3, and that HNO3 is dilute. What are the products you are getting? CuNO3 twice plus 2NO plus 4H2O. But when you take concentrated nitric acid, copper reacts with 4HNO3 concentrated to give you CuNO3 twice, copper nitrate plus NO2. With dilute, it gives you NO. With concentrated HNO3, you are getting NO2 plus H2O. And same way with zinc. First, if you are treating HNO3, which is dilute, with zinc, you are getting Zn NO3 twice zinc nitrate plus 5H2O plus N2O. When you take zinc and treat it with concentrated HNO3, you are getting Zn NO3 twice plus 2H2O plus 2NO2. See, balancing these equations are very important. Always remember to write the balanced equations. As I said, depending upon the concentration of nitric acid, the products differ. So copper with dilute nitric acid, you are getting NO. What is NO? Nitric oxide. And copper with concentrated nitric acid, you are getting NO2, which is nitrogen dioxide. So here you get nitric oxide, here nitrogen dioxide. Same way, zinc with dilute HNO3 gives you N2O, which is nitrous oxide. With concentrated HNO3, you are getting NO2, which is nitrogen dioxide. So these metals react with nitric acid. Some metals like chromium and aluminium, they do not react with nitric acid, because when these metals like chromium and aluminium are dipped in concentrated nitric acid, they will lose their normal activity and become passive, which means they don't react anymore. That passivity of these metals is due to the formation of a thin protective layer of the metal oxide. That metal combines with the oxygen in nitric acid to form a protective layer called metal oxide on the surface of the metal, and that surface on the metal prevents further action of the metal. So metal cannot react anymore. So the metals like chromium and aluminium, they do not react. So if they ask you why chromium and aluminium do not react with nitric acid, you should say that it forms a oxide film which is passive on the surface of the metal. Just like these metals, noble metals like gold and platinum, they do not react even with concentrated nitric acid. So we have seen the preparation and properties of nitric acid. We are going to end the group 15 by looking at the structures of oxides of nitrogen. We have seen already nitrogen forms a number of oxides in which the oxidation state varies from +1 to +5. So now we will see the name, formula and the structures of these oxides. So these are the list of oxides nitrogen forms with oxygen: N2O, NO, N2O3, NO2 and N2O5. These are the Lewis structures of these compounds, and I've taught you in grade 11 how to draw these Lewis structures. If you have any doubts, you can refer grade 11 chemical bonding and molecular structure videos, where you can see how to draw these Lewis structures. So now we have 2 nitrogens and 1 oxygen. So this is how it is bonded. How to draw the structures, as I just told you, it's on part 2 video of grade 11 chemical bonding playlist. So all you have to do is choose one atom as the central atom. Usually the less negative atom is chosen as the central atom, and calculate the total number of valence electrons here. See, we have 2 nitrogens and 1 oxygen. In 1 nitrogen, how many valence electrons are there? 5. So there would be 10 valence electrons in nitrogen, and in oxygen the number of valence electrons are 6. So totally 6 plus 10, 16 valence electrons are there. And draw the skeletal structure. Just draw N, N, O and place electrons in between them, so that octet is satisfied for these outer atoms. So you have to put 8 electrons around nitrogen. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then here also you have to put 8 electrons around oxygen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I haven't drawn that structure, I'm just telling you. So you will be having 8 electrons around nitrogen and 8 electrons around oxygen, and 1 pair of electron will be between nitrogen and nitrogen, and 1 pair will be between oxygen and nitrogen. Now we have to check for the octet of the central atom, because already we have satisfied octet of the valence, outer atoms. So now we have only 1, 2, 3, 4 electrons for central nitrogen. So what you should do, you should bring a pair of electron from this side and from this side, or both the pair of electrons from this side, to draw the octet for central atom. So already we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here. So you can bring 2 electrons from there in between nitrogen and nitrogen. Now nitrogen has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 only this side. Now you have to bring one more pair of electron from here to this side. So you will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the final structure. This is one resonance structure of N2O. And another possibility, instead of bringing a pair of electron from oxygen, you can bring both the pairs of electrons from nitrogen itself so that octet is satisfied for the central atom. Now look at this structure. Oxygen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it is with oxygen. Instead of bringing a pair of electron from here so that there is a double bond, you can keep all the electrons of oxygen as such, but bring both the pair of electrons from nitrogen itself. So see, now nitrogen has got only 2 electrons and 3 pairs of electrons are shared between this nitrogen and that nitrogen. So now these two are resonance structures. You know what are resonance structures? When a molecule is represented by 2 or more hybrid structures and the structures are different in the position of the electrons, not in the position of the atoms. See, position of the atoms is same in both the structures, but the position of electrons are different. Then we call these structures as resonating structures. So these two are the resonance structures of N2O. Now coming to NO. What is before that? What is N2O? It is nothing but nitrogen oxide. Now NO. What is NO? Nitrogen oxide or nitric oxide. Now this is the structure of nitric oxide. See, you have two resonating structures. When you look at this structure, you can see it is an odd electron molecule. When you look at the electrons on nitrogen, usually we can have them in pairs, even numbers. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. See, 1, 2 or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But here you have 1, 2, 3. We call this as odd electron molecule. So this molecule is paramagnetic in the gaseous state. So if they ask you why NO is paramagnetic in nature, because of its odd electron property, it is paramagnetic in nature. Now coming to N2O3, this is the structure of N2O3. See, N bonded to N and this N bonded to 2 oxygens and this N bonded to 1 oxygen, and all the electrons are distributed. Now in this resonating structure, see here we have N double bond O, single bond O, double bond O. In this resonating structure, here you have a single bond, here you have a double bond. So these two are resonating structures. The next oxide of nitrogen is NO2, nitrogen dioxide, and these are the two resonating structures of nitrogen dioxide. Just like NO, NO2 is also an odd electron molecule. When we say odd electron molecule, you can see there are 17 valence electrons because N has 5 and oxygen, 2 oxygens 12. So there are 17 valence electrons. So one is left unpaired. So just like here on NO. So since this is an odd electron molecule, you can see it is paramagnetic because of the presence of this unpaired electron. And same way, this NO2, because of the presence of unpaired electrons, to make it stable, it undergoes dimerization. So that you will get N2O4 molecule. You can have even number of electrons in N2O4, which means it dimerizes, just doubles itself and exists as a dimer. Which means this N bonds with this N and you will get N2O4 dimerize. But now you will get a question why NO does not dimerize. The reason why NO does not dimerize is because NO has a lone pair of electron here along with an unpaired electron. See, this is unpaired electron. This is lone pair of electrons. When you look at NO2, it has only an unpaired electron. No lone pair of electrons, only an unpaired electron. We have studied in grade 11 in chemical bonding chapter. For an odd electron species like this, the unpaired electron does not participate in hybridization if a lone pair of electron is already present on the central atom. So here the NO shows sp hybridization, whereas NO2 shows sp2 hybridization. So in sp and sp2 hybridization, S character will be more in sp2 hybridization. When S character is more, bond strength is more. So NO2 combines to dimerize, while in NO, the odd electron doesn't have an S character. So the bond formed is not that much strong. So it always exists as NO molecule, not as N2O4. Sorry, N2O2. But this exists as N2O4. They'll not ask you all these questions, but you should have an idea why, even though having odd electron, this is not dimerizing, but this is dimerizing. This is because of both lone pair and unpaired electrons are present on nitrogen, but here only unpaired electron is there. So it is having more S character when it undergoes hybridization. So bonding is more. So when they two bond to dimerize, that bond strength will be more. So it prefers to be in dimerized form. But this, since the bonding, if they dimerize, is not strong enough, it prefers to be as such without undergoing dimerization. And this is N2O4. Look at this, N2O4, the dimerized form of NO2. So this nitrogen and this nitrogen will bond to give you N2O4, and these two are the resonance structures of N2O4. So look at here, nitrogen bonded to oxygen with a single bond, here a double bond. But in resonance structure, this nitrogen is bonded to this oxygen with a double bond, here with a single bond. So the position of the electrons are different. That's why we call them as resonating structures. Now coming to the last oxide of nitrogen, N2O5. See, 2 nitrogens, 5 oxygens, N2O5. And these two are the resonating structures of N2O5. N double bond O, N single bond O. Here N single bond O, here N double bond O. This can happen in these two oxygens also. Either ways, you'll be getting the same resonating structures. So of all these structures, N2O is linear, whereas N2O3 is planar, and NO2 is angular. You will get an angular structure, you will get an angle. And same way N2O4 and N2O5 are again planar in structure. So when they ask you a question, why does NO2 dimerize? Then you should say NO2 contains odd number of valence electrons. So it behaves as an odd molecule. On dimerization, it can be converted into a more stable N2O4 molecule, where it can have even number of electrons. So that's the reason why NO2 dimerize. So with this, we are done with group 15 elements. We have seen the general properties of group 15 elements, atomic, physical and chemical properties and their occurrence. And then we have seen particularly about nitrogen, how to prepare dinitrogen and few other compounds of dinitrogen like ammonia, nitric acid, and their properties also. And we have ended this group 15 by looking at the structures of oxides of nitrogen. So from next video onwards, we'll be starting with group 16 elements, oxygen family. Thank you.